Good morning, vinyl community. Yes, Jeff is back. I want to do another contest entry for another channel. So yeah, let's do this. This is for Kim over at This Is Music. He is, check out his channel for sure if you haven't. I was looking and he's in the 300s. He covers a lot of different music, a lot of metal though. So this is a contest on summertime contest, where he's giving away a CD by a band that a lot of people have never heard of, Anoxia, I guess, but they're a melodic thrash band, so that's right up my alley. And part of the contest, aside from showing 5 melodic metal albums, he also wants to have a shout out. So I thought, well, since the theme is about a thrash band and all that stuff, I'm going to go ahead and throw out a fairly new channel, about less than 100 subscribers, and that's Thrash or Be Thrashed. Of course, as you can tell, he's going to be showing a lot of that style of music. So if you're into that kind of music, make sure you check out that channel. Like I said, he's in the 80s range of subscribers, so he's fairly new. Check out Thrash or Be Thrashed. That'll be my shout out. And then I'm going to jump in with 5 melodic metal albums. Now this is always questionable because everybody determines what metal is in their own mind, and this band may be metal to some and not to others. This is my metal. And I will say, for those who know my room setup, everything I pulled is from the things behind me, so that's going to give you an idea of what direction I'm going with these. So I am going to start with a couple thrash bands that I think they're less known and really worth checking out. Sadly, this first one is out of print now. Thresher, Totally Possessed. Absolutely wonderful album. It is very melodic thrash from the late 80s, like 89, I believe. Recently reissued on vinyl. I have only 100 copies on the Rocks 100 series, and it is long gone. It came out in 2021. I am so thrilled about this. It's kind of a short album, more than an EP, but less than an album. But they do have a bonus track in here, so that's good. But when this album came out in the 80s, it just blew me away because it's very melodic, but it's got a real, thrashy elements. So typical late 80s type thrash. The band itself had started as under the name Lazarus and put out an album which was a little less thrash, but definitely metal, hard rock metal. This was a little bit thrashy. I don't know. Really, the two go together. That's the only thing I'd love to see them reissue also, because they reissued this and they reissued a second album that had never really come out in the day that I know of. So that was like new stuff for us back when they put that out on CD, and that was also reissued on vinyl around the same time as this. So I am so pumped. If you can find a copy of this, it's great. Like I say, this is the only vinyl reissue, and they only did 100 of them, and they are sold out. You can go to Rocks Records, and you can see the other album that is still available. That one. Probably next is probably one of the... And I teeter between trying to figure out which is my favorite, the first album or the second album. But this is going to be the album that everybody is going to usually say is their favorite. Thrash Metal Masters Deliverance, Weapons of Our Warfare. They had a video from this on MTV back in the day, in the late, this is like, 1990, I believe. So the tail end of, anyway. This was reissued numerous times. This is the 2014 reissue. I've got it on black. It was reissued 300 copies. I've got like 225. Phenomenal melodic. Jimmy Brown's vocals, melodic, and a lot of the early Deliverance stuff was all thrashy. I love the first album, love the second album. I went ahead and showed the second. Probably easier to find. This has been reissued numerous times, and that's the 2014 reissue, and they did it on yellow, and they've done it on blue, and they've done it on different colors. They keep putting them out in small batches. All right, now this band, straightforward, just classic metal. Numerous albums I could have picked. For some reason, my hand went right for this one. This is Saint, Too Late for Living. Everybody chimes in. The second album is probably the one that a lot of people lean towards. I went to this one because this is probably more melodic in the sense that the production and everything. So the first album that they did, that they just reissued on vinyl recently, more of an EP. It was very raw, just it was a little more aggressive, same vocal stylings, making it very melodic, but the production, everything was raw. Love that album. Had a picture of the band, which was really cool in the front. Anyway, didn't want to show that. Second album, Times In, probably still one of my go-to albums, one of my favorites, but this is really right up there with it. These were all reissued on vinyl real recently on the limited run Retroactive Records. Check out the band there. At this point, they were getting into a little less of the studs and leather metal stuff and going with a little more of the, you know, typical California-ish, I don't want to say glam, but, you know, they've got the more cool made costumes that are like more colorful and leather and stuff. But the album production made this one sound a little more high quality, and so therefore it comes off a little, I hate to say melodic, but the vocals are very melodic. But this album is just so smooth, and it's got some really killer tracks on here. And so this one may, I don't know, limited run vinyl, limited run, I have to check. It may still be available. Go to Boone's Overstock and see if they still have some. And then so now we're going to move into what most people would consider hard rock. In the day, this was heavy metal. This was, now people derogatorily call it hair metal, but it still was metal. They may call it glam rock, whatever. But back in the day, it was melodic metal with hair. And the first Holy Soldier album, which, you know, I still got it in the shrink. I should take that out. That's giving a glare there, too. They have 2 albums out that were of this lineup that had the same melodic vocal, Stevens vocals. And this to me is just like the perfect album. Second album, a little more bluesy. Kind of reminds me of what like Cinderella did. First album was very in that hair metal genre, if you want to use that silly term. And then the second album had a little more of a bluesy feel to it. Both albums superb. Both albums reissued on vinyl a couple years ago. Maybe hard to find now. But this one to me is just like perfect. It's the perfect blend of what they were doing at the time. The band had the look. They always had the look. Can't you see that? California band with the costumes and the look and the hair and everything. Absolutely wonderful, wonderful, highly rated melodic metal of the day. And then probably one of my go-to most favorite melodic, again, it's going to be in the same vein of the hair days, but I don't really look at this as hair metal, even though they had hair, but it's still melodic metal of the late 80s. Joshua's Intense Defense. Really wishing they would do a vinyl reissue of this, but Joshua, the guitar player, did finally spend tons of money, because this is this is overseas RCA. This is an RCA release. This is an import. And he finally shelled out, was able to buy the rights to the album. And, you know, he says it was an arm and leg. Bands, you know, who have to do that, they know it's an arm and leg. And he got the rights, and he recently went in and reissued it on CD. I almost bought it, but I can't recall now if it's actually been, I know it's probably been remastered. But anyway, this is the original, you know, import album, and it's just absolutely one of my favorites. Rob Rock on vocals. He is the, what is he called? The melodic. He's got his code name is like the melodic voice, or totally forgetting it, but he's known as like just having that voice. He does a lot of work with Impellitteri and a lot of other bands, and he is just a favorite. This is one of the early albums that he popped up on back in the day. He was on the first Impellitteri EP. Nobody really knew who he was. He was in a band with Impellitteri called Vice. I have a demo of them, and then that band got a new guitar player and singer and put out a couple albums that are available. But it went from Vice, they did Impellitteri, and then Rob Rock left and did some stuff and did this and some other stuff, and then he came back to Impellitteri an album or two later. Great stuff. Joshua, Intense Defense, absolutely some of my most favorite melodic hard rock, melodic hair metal, melodic, whatever you want to call it. It is melodic. The vocals are great. That's all, though. Quick contest entry that went longer than I thought. So check out the channel. This is music. I'll have a link below. Jump on the contest. It's been going for about 2 weeks, so you're probably going to run out soon, or he's got a little ways to go, but jump on it. Thanks a lot for watching, though. I'll be back. Rock on and rock hard.